When I was a young boy, about 5, 6 years old, Mama loaded us up and took us to a boarding school right next to Lawton, Oklahoma. Fort Sill Indian boarding school. And while me and my cousin and others was playing, we talked Indian, Comanche language. But it was also restricted that we cannot talk our tribal language at boarding schools. Yes. Not only the Comanche, but the Kiowas and Wichitas and others that went to school at Fort Sill Indian School near Lawton. But also Riverside and Anadarko, Concho and El Reno, and Sequoia, Tahlequah, and others Indian boarding schools. Back in the 30s, they were restricted not to talk their tribal language. Every once in a while, me and my little cousin get together, Larry Chibitty, he was in the Signal Corps with us. We always laugh and we always say, maybe they're trying to make little white boys out of us. But anyway, we have a little fun like that. Yes, it's been many years ago, way back in late 20s when I was in Fort Sill Indian School. And one thing, we was military. I was in C Company. We dressed like soldiers. We marched to every place we go. Eat, school, whatever it is. And every other week, they had a girls' town day and then they had a boys' town day. So Mom and them was so poor, but they couldn't hardly come. They didn't have no car most of the time. But when boys' town day comes, then after dinner at 1 o'clock, I would change into my best clothes and sit up there on the curb waiting for them to come in. But majority of the time, they don't show up. But when they do come up, then we get to go to town and go to show for a dime. Maybe get a nickel for a pop, and that was our treats them days, many years ago. Yes, we were forbidden to talk the tribal language, but we was going to boarding schools. But when Hitler got to kicking around all them people over there many years ago, Czechoslovakia, Poland, and all of that, many of y'all probably remember that most of us World War IIs are in the 70s. I'll be 78 November the 20th, so. They was looking for 2 tribes of Indians, the military. They wind up with 20 Comanches near Lawton, Oklahoma, around the circumference of 50 miles around Lawton. And I ran, and I was about halfway over, and that mortar was falling, and I looked back, and he was still sitting there. And I ran back, hollered at him, and he didn't do nothing. I went back, he was still alive, and I picked him up, put him on my shoulder, and I forgot about all that mortar coming in. And then I went on, and I went down in the basement, and them other boys come and helped me, took him down. And he took 2 deep breaths, and he was from New Jersey, and he had a picture of a wife and little girl. I don't know whether he ever seen that little girl, but I always remember that. And then that big artillery knocked a big part of a building off, and this was hanging up there. And I climbed up there a day later and went up there, and they had a blackboard there, and it showed where the American military was, and I guess they was there, and they left that up there. And I've seen others in French and then, but I didn't think much of it. But this one here, I climbed up there and got it, because my friend, that Mullins, Private Mullins, was killed just right here, arm distance from me. And I carried it down to the basement, but it was too late because medic said he got one right through the heart. So I took that with me to talk about my little friend. And he was from New Jersey. So I talked to that Hugh Forrester, that second lieutenant that worked with us. Now he's a major general retired. And I asked him to look up that Moon Mullins, see if he could locate the family after all these years, that I could tell him how he had died, you know. And so this flag, I've been carrying it around. And I was talking to a bomber squad in that Tulsa, like crowd like this, and one lady got up and she said, "That's the country of my flag. That's the country of my flag of my country." And I told the lady, "You could give me $1,000, you could have it." See, I still got it. And when I went to Coffeyville, 7th of last November, I was talking about this flag, and I said about that, what that lady said, "This is the country of my flag. $1,000, I guess you could see I got it." The man come up and said, "Here's $1,000, I take that flag." And I didn't sell it to him. Okay. That came from a little town named Bailoff, Bastogne, and then St. Viv, and then next to the Dragon Teeth, right there in the valley where that little town is. So I carried it all the way home, and I take it with me when I'm talking about it, and I still got it.